Dear listeners, today, October 5, 2025, I, Sun Lin, would like to present a very hot topic for President Donald Trump and the Republican Party to save America. The most important thing is that the Republican Party must win in the House of Representatives. Otherwise, Ms. Nancy Pelosi will again be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. She will sit on President Trump's head, meaning that she will rely on the strength of the Democratic House of Representatives. She will return to take revenge and prevent many of President Trump's plans. She can impeach and remove President Trump as she did in his first term in 2018. The American governing system is a model of democracy respected by the world. But it is different from the leadership systems of dictatorial and communist countries. The U.S. government was established and strong like two skyscrapers in New York before the 9/11 incident. But these two skyscrapers were built on bricks made of paper. That is the people's votes. Both the Republican and Democratic parties, by any way honest or deceitful, bribe, threaten to persuade people to follow their party and vote for their party. Whichever party wins the majority of votes, that party will lead the government, keep the seat of power. The second factor of victory for the government is that the Republican or Democratic Party must have the majority in the House of Representatives and the Senate. The plans to run the country are all led by Congress. The president is just a puppet. The president must implement the policies according to the decisions of Congress. The role of representatives and senators is also very important like the president. People can invest tens of millions to buy a few representatives for their party. The result of which party has the majority will change the balance of power in the two houses, and this party will overthrow the government. Following the results of recent elections, we can clearly see the strengths of the two parties. The Republican Party won thanks to the pure white Americans, Protestants, Catholics, and exiled people like Vietnam, Laos, and Cuba. Those who are dissatisfied with the Democratic Party's policies on border protection and ensuring neighborhood security. This group is a minority because there are too few white Americans in the United States. Not all white Americans follow the Republican Party. Many immigrants are also divided and not united. The Democratic Party, which consists mostly of discontented elements, with the Republican Party, groups that have become rich thanks to the Democratic Party's favors, anti-abortion organizations, free-living minors, who give birth to illegitimate children and are taken care of by the Democratic Party government with medical treatment, and are subsidized. Abortion facilities, homosexuals, left-wing organizations that are free to operate in the U.S., spies, international students who come to the U.S. and study at American universities. They learn all the latest American technology. They become talented people thanks to the U.S., but still oppose the U.S. Most importantly, the Democratic Party has broken down the border fence, allowing millions of massive immigrants from all over the world. They crossed the border into the United States like going to the market. These people will be given ID and vote for the Democratic Party. That is the reason the Democratic Party opposes President Trump's decree requiring voters to prove that they are citizens of the United States. In democratic states, there are cities that are shelters that protect immigrants. When they go to vote, they do not need to prove that they are citizens who have become U.S. citizens. The Democratic Party's policy to allow massive immigration into the United States is not for humanitarian reasons, to save people, but to use these people as a voting force for the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party will win the majority of votes in any state. The Democratic Party's mistake: the Democratic Party has lost the trust of the people and the business community when groups of immigrants, armed with knives, hammers and large bags, poured into markets, gold shops, broke into houses, stole cars and valuables. The actions of illegal immigrants were public in broad daylight. The police were completely helpless. The current way of organizing elections, whichever state has the majority of voters voting for a party, that party will take all the electoral votes. This event shows that the Democratic Party will always win in any election. To prevent sophisticated fraud, we urgently demand that the Republican Party regain the trust of the majority of immigrants and the people. Otherwise, the Republican Party will lose the majority in the House of Representatives in the 2026 midterm elections. The Republican Party will also have a hard time winning the upcoming presidential elections. Here are some suggestions to President Trump to save America, as he said. America must recognize a state religion as stipulated in the Constitution. In God we trust. Respect God, worship the Virgin Mary, respect the Constitution. The nation is united and strong. Americans are good and kind. Social health. Close prisons. In the United States, the private sector takes care of the prisoners. The government pays the contractors. The prison industry advocates raising more prisoners to get more money from the government. There was a case of a judge in a state. He colluded with a prison camp, locking up as many juvenile prisoners as possible, even though they only committed minor crimes. Avoid too many prisons. Reduce sentences. Prison sentences in the United States are too severe. 1 year in the United States is equal to 10 years in other countries in the world. Restore citizenship rights to prisoners. Set up a construction site to force prisoners to commit serious crimes and illegal immigrants. The crime of insult, the penalty is $1 like the law in France regarding the crime of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment. Sex is the ultimate pleasure of human beings. Child marriage and forced marriage have been too common in human history. No woman went crazy after being raped. U.S. law imposes too many fines for harassment and rape, creating opportunities for beautiful women to make money. They use beauty to destroy family happiness. They are traps for spies. They attack and kill political opponents. Men's nature is to be fascinated by strange things and beautiful women, even though they have a beautiful wife. Women are greedy for money. Violent sex is punishable by 1 year in prison. Sex and murder are punishable by death. Immigration. The standard citizenship test is too difficult, only reducing the labor force and increasing crime because of mental illness. It is good that people do not break the law. Old and elderly immigrants have a hard time learning English. People with $1 million can easily enter the U.S. This method is discrimination. Healthcare. Reduce the cost of medicine. Eliminate the medical complex. People with Medicare cards can be treated at any doctor's office or medical facility. Police drive cars to keep security on the streets. Police beat and kill people if they are at fault. Their salary will be deducted. Guns. The Republican Party is heavily opposed, and this party has lost many votes because it protects the right to carry guns. People can easily buy guns. Recently, there have been many cases of students buying guns, taking guns from their parents to school and killing their friends. There was even a case of a 3-year-old child playing with a gun. He accidentally shot and killed his mother. The Republican Party believes that guns are not evil. Only humans are evil. But the Republican Party forgets to consider psychology. An evil, angry person, when having a gun with him, will easily kill someone. But if there is no gun, the time the angry person goes to find a knife, hammer to kill the victim can run away. It is also the time when the evil person is sober enough, less angry to not kill someone. The Republican Party must make stricter gun control laws. Do not let minors buy guns. Parents have the right to control the actions and items in their children's rooms. Parents must keep guns in a safe place. Parents commit the crime of complicity if they let their children use their guns. Election. The election law stipulates that a state with a majority of votes will have all the electoral votes. For example, the state of California has 2 million registered voters, and the state has 1,100,000 votes for the Democratic Party. As a result, the Democratic Party won in this state. The remaining 900,000 voters became zero. This election method leads to the situation where the federal government, donors and billionaires only prioritize subsidies and give many benefits to states with many voters such as California, Florida, Texas, Colorado. And the small states are abandoned. Election fraud is allowing people to vote without having to prove that they are citizens. Propose to abolish the Electoral College. Organize universal suffrage. People can vote anywhere in the United States and abroad, especially soldiers who are working far away. People do not need to register to vote. For example, in the California election, under the new universal suffrage law, the majority of 1,100,000 votes will be for the Democratic Party. The remaining 900,000 votes will be for other parties. These will votes be counted in the total number of votes national. The Central Election Commission will count the votes. No state knows whether its party won or lost during the election. Therefore, cheating people to vote by mail without proof of citizenship will not be effective in this way. This way also ends the self-isolation of each state. Conclusion. Propose to abolish the Electoral College, organize universal suffrage. To solve the problem of illegal immigration, President Trump needs to declare a general amnesty for all honest immigrants who have not committed crimes and grant them easy citizenship. This will get the votes of millions of illegal immigrants. Reduce the workload for ICE officers. They have to hunt down immigrants all day. The government does not spend too much time and money to feed immigrants waiting for deportation. At the same time, it will resolve the accusations that the Trump administration is cruel to immigrants, especially women. According to the current order to deport immigrants, it may take 3 more years for the Trump administration to arrest all illegal immigrants. Propose that the DMV issue 3 types of IDs. White ID issued to citizens. Blue ID issued to permanent residents. Yellow ID for illegal immigrants. The ID will help law enforcement officers know who is a U.S. citizen when voting. Children born in the United States are considered American citizens. Currently, there are women from many countries around the world who have traveled to the United States. They implant sperm, become pregnant, and give birth to children for others. There are many organizations that help women become pregnant for others. To make these children become American citizens according to the old law, the Trump administration needs to establish a political warfare department. Psychological warfare. Political warfare department. The United States has no plan to propagate patriotism among soldiers to know the evil tricks of left-wing, terrorist, and anti-American forces. The Psychological Warfare Department helps soldiers avoid spy traps, insiders, and beauty traps. The Military Propaganda Department teaches soldiers about anti-guerrilla tactics in third countries, helping soldiers distinguish between honest people and guerrillas. The governor is appointed by the president. The governor is considered the commander of the tactical zone. The governor must carry out the orders of the president, the commander-in-chief. The Trump administration should establish a National Advisory Committee consisting of former presidents. They will not participate in political activities. They are not allowed to campaign for parties. They mediate disputes with current presidents. Establish a Supreme Inspection Committee. This committee will control, remove power, and imprison those who violate many issues when the committee has evidence of illegality through public opinion, the press, or organizations. This committee does not need to receive complaints or denunciations. Above are the opinions and suggestions that the Trump administration needs to urgently implement to gain the trust of millions of people, to dispel accusations that the Trump administration is cruel and dictatorial. If the above institutions cannot be done, the Republican Party will lose its majority in the upcoming term. Please wait and see. Goodbye. See you again. Sun Lin.